G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content on my channel. If you missed the last episode, there's a link up there now. I'll watch that first and come back and watch this one. Right, so let's wander over to the bench and we'll check out what I can get up to while I wait for that motor to arrive. Over there. Alright, I mentioned last time that I needed to cut some increments on here, a little like a micrometer dial, so I could set the angle this way. I haven't done that yet. I can do that. I did mention that I also had to try and cut some down on the side here for tilting this way, but I've decided that's all too complicated, because to come up with something that's usable when this part here is in any position is kind of a hassle. So I've decided that what I'll do is machine a little flat on the top of here and screw a piece of steel to there, because I mean this is all aluminium and that's too far away for a magnet to work, and just use my little level box to set it. So if I've got a little flat piece of steel on here, I can just sit that on there, you know, and it won't fall off, and set the angle that I want. That's probably the easiest way out of that. I've also got to give this shaft the same treatment that I gave that one in there. Middle little slot in the side here and a flat on the top, so this shaft can't rotate. I mentioned I need to make a little ring on here as a stop. I actually found this in my scrap box, which is a ring I made for the mill, and it's 20mm, so I don't need to make one. I can use that in there. What else do I need to do? I still need to make the little thing on the end here as a stop, so that, you know, when I pull this thing, pull it sideways to stroke it across there, you know, you can set a stop and not grind past the centre line or wherever you want to go to. I'm sure there's other stuff, but, you know, there you go. The good news is I think that motor could be here as early as tomorrow, so we'll just get on with stuff and see when it arrives. Alrighty, so I had a bit of a rake through my scrap bin and came up with this bit of stuff that'll do. It doesn't need to be very thick, and it's just the right width, about the right length. Decided to get out this 20mm end mill that I gave a tickle to the other day and see how well it goes milling this off. Well, I obviously did a pretty good job of grinding that by hand, because that's left a pretty bloody nice finish on there. Anyway, so I'll get this bit in there now. Actually, no, I won't, because I just thought of something. There's something else I need to do to this while I've got it in there. I bought some long M3 screws, or cap heads, to put down through here. So while I've got this in here, I might set it up and drill and tap maybe 3 of those down this side here. Look what I found in the cupboard. Forgot I put it in this box and wrote small chuck on it. It was in the new cupboard I just built. Alright, so that's another one of those little jobs I've been putting off out of the way. So I'll do that, machine that bit of steel up next, but first I've got to go change this battery. Alrighty, so I didn't bother to video that at all, because that was a right hassle, that thing. It's so thin that I had to machine it between the jaws, which was a bit of a hassle, and, you know, like leave a ridge up the edge and then file it all off afterwards. I'm seriously contemplating just getting a bit of 2-pack epoxy and gluing that on there, but I've got these two little countersunk M4s, I think they are. They're short enough to not go too far in there. I'll have some lunch. I'll think about whether I want to drill and tap them or just glue the damn thing on. Alrighty, decided to put the micrometer dial on here after lunch, and I think it's a bloody waste of time. Those 1 degree lines are so friggin' close together, you almost can't see the friggin' things. If I clean them up much more, there'll be nothing left there. And I went pretty deep this time. I went 0.2 of a millimetre with a scribe. But anyway, if I can't see them, then I'll have to find some other way of setting that. But anyway, we'll get over to the mill now, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that little plate I made. Alrighty, so I decided I would screw it on, but what I did was I super glued the plate to the top so that I can drill and tap it all in place. No misalignment dramas then, so we'll get on with that shortly after I set everything up. Ah, you dirty bastard. Well, at least I know where the holes go. Prick. What the hell is that on there? I hope there's enough meat left in there now for a thread. I want to strip it all out. Find out in a second. Oh, bugger all, there's nothing much in there. I think they've just about stripped all that out of there. Oh, there might be a tiny bit of thread. Yeah, a little bit. I'll Loctite that screw in there. Alrighty, so I'll go and finish this damn thing off over in the drill press. Alrighty, so this one here has got just enough thread in it to lock it up, and that's all. So I think when I put it back on, I might actually put some more super glue on the bottom before I do these up, and I'll put some Loctite on these and do them up. Might take a light fly cut over the top of that when I'm finished, just to make it look a bit nicer. Thanks mate, thanks a lot. Whale oil beef hooked. It is exactly a week today since I ordered these two things, if it's what I think it is. And I hope it is what I think it is. With a bit of luck, this is a pulley. And it is. And this is a motor. Chinese newspapers, anyone? Well packaged. I ordered it with, I came with screws which I probably won't use. I ordered it with a mounting bracket, so I may have to make one. It's a good solid thing too. Alright, let's have a quick look at this motor. Oh yeah. Actually they are the screws to mount the motor onto the mounting plate. Cool, man. Alrighty, well I'm going to go wash my hands and I'll come back out and have a look at trying to fit that thing up. Alrighty, nice quiet motor. That's rotating the wrong direction at the moment, that's not an issue, we'll soon change that. But I was a little worried that the belt would be too long now that I'm using a much smaller pulley here, and it is. I don't want to move back too far that way, but this broken belt's off my daughter's electric scooter. The trouble is that's a 12mm belt. These ones are take 10mm belt. But I suppose there's nothing stopping me from slitting 2mm off the edge of one of these things, because I can get these locally, well here in Thailand, but this has to come from China. So I might get in and order one of these ones, because that one would be just about perfect length. I mean so might get in and order one of these, but yeah, that's nice and quiet that. Just got to hope that it'll dry this. It's about 2 or 3 times, yeah, more than 3.5 times as powerful as that other thing, so hopefully that will run it. something I haven't mentioned yet. I bought a sheet of 3mm PVC stuff to build a cowling for all over the top of this and enclose all of this. Something I've never worked with before, so that'll be interesting when it comes to fold all that up and get it working. Alrighty, done it again. Forgot to turn the bloody camera on. Or I just gave that a light lick. This one could have been a little bit countersunk a little bit deeper. It took the top off it, but pretty sure this part's finished now, so I might even get in and paint that. I'll just come over to the motor. Let me move this camera. I decided I couldn't wait for that belt to arrive, so I've stretched that out, clamped the thing down with a couple of G clamps. In fact, I had one on originally, and with one it throws the belt, so I had to clamp it with two. So this thing, I ran it for a while. It didn't take long for this to get quite hot, but it's bloody noisy actually. I have to admit that I actually lost one of the balls out of this rear bearing, and I tried to buy one down the road that had everything but the 6mm ball that I need for that. So I've ordered another bearing this morning. It's probably just as well I put those two knockout slots in here, so I can knock that one out and replace it when the other one gets here. I might look at trying to reduce the size of the shaft, and there's a little sleeve goes up in the back here that run in the seals, just so, because this thing is pretty free until the seals go in. So I think the seals are making it a bit too tight, but that gets pretty hot pretty quickly. I've only got some high pressure grease in those bearings at the moment. Maybe it's not the right thing to be using. Alrighty, that's that. I machined that groove in there while you weren't looking, the flat on that side. So the flat is for up here for clamping, to lock it solid. And this groove is for there. It'll get the machine down grub screw to stop this part from twisting. You've had those days where things just grow legs and walk. It's just unbelievable. You know, there one minute, gone the next. I cut a new spring for in here this morning, and bloody things disappeared. I can't find it. Whether it's rolled off the bench or not, I don't know. Maybe, who knows. So I've got the remnants. It was about this long, and I cut a piece off the end of it. So I've got the remnants in there now, which is too long, but that's all set up in there now. I did in here what I did over in the back over there, and put a little piece of Teflon in the bottom of this hole. So when I clamp that down, I'm clamping down on a piece of Teflon, not straight onto the bar. I've machined up the end of that to fit into that slot I made in here. To get it to line up, so it goes in there. Trouble is, that slot on this bottom edge of it, it's sort of lumpy like that, and it does sort of. Anyway, getting there. I've spent today making all these little bits and pieces, or just doing all the little odd jobs that I haven't got around to doing yet. I said earlier, well, I mentioned in a text comment, that I thought I had a way of fixing this, or overcoming this bloody ridiculous thing here. Where's my vernier? At the moment, that is only, you know, just under 35mm round. Across these points here, it's just, well, 59 up, just under 60mm. So if I machine a round piece up, well, I want to cast a piece up for starters that is 60mm round, bore the centre out so it'll fit over there. That will give me a surface that is, you know, a diameter of 60mm to put these lines on, which will separate those lines and make them more legible. So I think that's what I'll do. I still need to cast the piece up to go across here yet with the adjuster on it, because like I said, when I unlock this thing, with everything on it, it'll just go boom and fall down, like that Allen key, like this, boom. So I need something on here to stop that from just falling down. So I want to make a little lever up with a screw in it that I can adjust that up and down, you know, more sensitively. So that needs to be done. Actually, I've had two really nice hot sunny days. I could have done some casting. Tomorrow morning I might make this thing up. It's getting a bit late in the day now to be stuffing around with it, and hope that we get two more fine days. I'll cast that up, and I'll cast up a ring to fit onto here. as well. What else have I got to do? I can't think of too much more at the moment that I can do. That belt should be here tomorrow with a bit of luck, probably not till about lunchtime, although tomorrow is going to be shopping day, so I get stuff all done on shopping day anyway. Alright, that'll be it until I find something else to do. Thought I'd go down a different path today with this one. Do a double pour but in one go. I have done this before and it has worked out okay, so hopefully that will come out alright. Neither of them are all that big, so I think I should better get down to one on crucible full. At least I hope I can. Won't matter if it runs out when it's like in here somewhere, won't matter. Anyway, I'll just give that a little longer for the glue to dry, and then I'll get some plaster on it, get out in the sun, because the sun is out this morning, and hopefully it might be sunny tomorrow morning. I'll get them cast tomorrow. Alrighty, so I was contemplating making up the lever I was intended to put on here to push this thing in and out. I was just lying in bed last night thinking about it, and I decided that that's, there's not a lot of control on that. So what I've decided to do is instead put a little hand wheel on here so that I can wind it across and then wind it back a little more precise. Just give you an idea of how much money making these castings saves me. This is a little piece of offcut that I buy from down the bolt shop. Well, I used to. Well, this one cost me 200 baht. That's I'll work it out, put it up on the screen. But a little piece like that, 200 baht, unbelievable. So anyway, what I'll do with this is I'll bore a 20mm hole in here, leave a shoulder in here, and then make up a little. I think I'll use a brass one actually. Make up a brass insert to go in there. So I'm not running the aluminium. Just bolt that, put it over the top of that. Bolt it to this, put a little hand wheel on it. I had to dig through my El Cheapo collet and tap set and found an M8x1, which I didn't realise I had. I don't know how good it is. But if I'm only threading brass, it'll probably be okay. So I'll make up a brass thread and a little brass insert to fit in this, and machine that up to bolt on there. Bugger! I was just playing around with this thing while I was waiting for the delivery guy to get here with my belts and stuff and my new bearing. The new bearing in there, and to see if I could figure out where most of the noise was coming from, and to see whether I had this done up too tight, and it was too tight. And this thing is bloody hot. The motor's hot and that's hot. It runs a lot quieter now though. Got it sitting on the 4 rubber feet that'll go under it when I'm done. But what I was contemplating doing was machining up a very thin, like a ring, to go inside of the guard to try and insulate it a bit from that body, because I thought it was like ringing a bit because it's so thin. But I found out just how thin. Way too thin. Wouldn't have been much bloody chop as a guard, so it looks like I'll have to remake that. But anyway, shit out. So time for a beer. I've had enough. Took way too long to get everything done this morning, go shopping, blah blah blah. So I'm off for a beer. Winner winner, chicken dinner. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. Their continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now, let's get back to the build. Well, that went really well this morning. I've got 2 decent castings and hardly any furry bits on them that I had to sort of just nick off on the belt sander to make them machinable. This came up really well. The only breakouts I had was a little one just in there, which broke off easily enough. And another one that was just in there, which just broke off easily enough. This one, I don't have to machine that. It's pretty much exactly what it's got to be to fit over where I want to put it. Just needs just a little bit more dressing up on the belt sander. I didn't have a full crucible, and I was sort of worried I wouldn't have enough, but that's what was left. That little bit there came out of this tin. So that's all I had left, and it was about that far from the top of the crucible. So it worked out really well this morning for a change. Alrighty, I've got a lot to do to this, so I best get on with it, I suppose. Got to machine this bit out of here. It has to be machined on an angle across there, and then all of that taken off it. Could have this cut off the bottom of it. I could have cast it in that sort of shape to save myself some machining, but it would have been too hard to hang on to. So I'm just going to clean the sides up, the ends up, and then go from there. Well, rather than turn that into a whole chunk of swarf, I think I'll cut that off with the bandsaw and then just clean it up afterwards. Alrighty, so I've got to figure out just where it sits and how it sits now, and work out where I'm going to drill 2 holes in here to mount the thing. Alrighty, I've got a new toy. I'll make a full video on this thing once I've finished building this thing. Finish playing around with this tool and cutter grinder. On first impressions, it looks pretty groovy. Like I said, I'll make a full video on this. When I finish this project, I've got to drill an M8, put an M8 thread down through here. Alright, it's getting a bit late in the day, but this is how this is going to work. Set up like this. Tomorrow morning I will make a brass thread and a knob to go with it to use in there. And this one, I just had to go and stuff it up in the end. I was facing that off. Last thing, everything else is done. Went a bit too deep and left a bloody hole in the end of it. Not happy about that, but anyway, it happens. Alrighty, sorry about the music I was playing. I was listening to the radio while I was doing it. This actually took quite a while to make this. I made them the way I made them because I didn't really want to chew that much out of a 1-inch piece of round. That's just complete waste. We used to make those knobs for our needle valves back in the factory like that. Screwed on and Loctited, never had any failures. Alrighty, this is dragging on, this video, isn't it? I'm going to go and do a little bit of editing and see just how far out over 20 minutes we've gotten. I still haven't made that adjuster for over this side here, and I've yet to fit the motor up, so I'll see how much over 20 minutes I am and decide what I'm going to do or how much more I'm going to do this week. If you've been enjoying watching me make this project, how about doing me a favour and giving it a great big thumbs up, smashing that like button, because you know it kind of helps me out. Well, I've still got a lot to do here, so I think I'm going to give it a miss for this week. I still haven't fitted that new bearing to the spindle. I've done the belt, bolted the motor on, so that's done. I still need to make the stop for this end and the adjuster for this end. Found this little hand wheel in the cupboard the other day. That's off the lathe from a cross slide originally, so I might use that up that end. We've got the cover to make. There's not much else to do really, and then, you know, pull it all apart, paint everything. Now, I said this was finished, but there is, if I can find them, I've got some of those spring button oilers. I might put 2 of those in there to help me get a bit of oil in there, just so this is easier to turn. Alright, well that's about it for this week, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.